We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for the history of Synergy Solutions and Action Vision. We're just going over our financials over the last, 2 years plus, and there's been some substantial losses. And so, what's the benefit of not being motivated?
Teaches you discipline muscles.
It gives you an opportunity to exercise your self-discipline muscles. And so, based on the last 2 years, is there any questions for me?
How can we change, or how can we, change our discipline muscles?
So,
How can we
one of the
enhance them?
things, I don't know if you ladies understand this, but when you mock men's strength or masculinity, it works. So, you just got to be willing. So, you're just innocent. You're just like, so Mark, last 2 years, had some pretty substantial losses. Why? It's like, I don't know. I'm just not that motivated. It's like, well, what's the upside of not being motivated? Oh, it helps you your self-discipline, help you develop self-discipline muscles. And it's like, so you're pretty weak, huh?
So are you pretty weak?
Oh my goodness. Obviously the numbers don't lie. Like, obviously the numbers don't lie. It's just, so I forget where we left off on the history of Action Vision. And so this one here, oh, the 93% of your business. So um so this was a couple years into Synergy, and Jack Eastman, he's the one that I called on a Saturday. Well, he's the one I called. He says, I want to introduce you. So if I wouldn't have made that one call on a Saturday at 5 o'clock, we were out of money, almost out of money. We had 30 days left. Like, it wasn't going to work. Looked like we were going to go down like a smoking hole in the ground. So Synergy, like, it's hard. It's hard to be me. It just is. Why is that, Mark?
Why is that?
There's two routes I could go. And so I don't know which route do
Go,
you,
go the safe route.
the safe route. Okay.
Yeah, go the
So
safe route first.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, have you all think positive of me. Okay. All right. So, why is it hard to be Mark? Because I'm going to be the amiable. I'm going to be amiable because this is the year of growth. So I'm going to be the amiable. So the reason, that I, sorry, I'm going to look like the amiable looks. It's not how they are, it's just how they look. Okay. So the reason that, it's hard to be me is it just sucks. Like, I'm sloppy, lazy, undisciplined, pathetic, stupid, obviously not motivated and not disciplined. It's just, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to be like that. When you're like that, it's just hard. So, anyways, so we had built up this business, this one first Chicago Mortgage Services, and they were like 95% of our business. So when you have customers, when you have one customer that's like 95% of your business, what do we call that kind of a business? Or that kind of a business owner? We call that business owner stupid. you know, and that business owner is really not a business owner, is it?
Why do you call them stupid?
Because if you have 95% of your business is putting all your eggs in one basket.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
what happens? What happens? What happens? So I'm 20, probably 29 years old, maybe 30. So I might have been Nora's age. So imagine me being Nora's age. Like, that'd be cool. And so then, so we have like almost all this business. We're doing good, profitability, everything's going good. The challenge is that like 95% of our business is coming from one customer. So you have no diversification. What happens if something happens with that one customer?
Got nothing.
You got nothing. And so that's not a very smart business, man. And you're really not a business. You own a. There's no diversification. So the challenge is, so did I know that this was an issue? What's that?
Yes.
I did. Yeah. I'm not stupid. I mean, like, I don't know. So you're stupid for doing that, but I knew it. So if I knew it, why was I in that situation?
No risk, no reward.
No, that's stupid. Risk no, no, that's not risk. That's not being high risk. Like, oh yeah, 95% of my business is in all one. No, that's being stupid. That's not high risk. Oh, that's like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute. High risk. No, that's just stupid. That's just stupid. I'm not saying jumping out of an airplane with a parachute is stupid too. I did it once. So I think everybody should do it once. I do. But yeah, not going to do it again. Just not. It's not going to happen. And so the reason is because I'm spending so much time in servicing that one customer. It's generating a lot of money, like a lot of money. You got to take care of the customer. And so, but the real reason is I don't like to sell. I don't like to market. I don't like to do pre-sales. And I don't like to sell. I don't like to do any of those. It's just coolest to service. Servicing is just cool. You just service. I mean, people tell you how amazing you are and all this kind of stuff. I mean, you know, Ginger Ann's like, oh yeah, that's exactly what servicing is.
Exactly.
Like, so you're, so you're trying to take care of your customer. You're trying to take care of your customer. And so like today, this is good. So this is Coffee Connections. Marks people to call. Now it looks like there's handwriting on it. It's nice handwriting. Whose handwriting is this?
That was me.
Isn't that cool?
I don't
What
know.
if, what if I lose this?
Then we'll print another one.
Well, I think it's handwritten on here, isn't it? Isn't this the only copy, Anita?
The handwritten part, yes, but I can find the notes pretty easily.
How long did it take you to do this?
Mm, I don't know. 5,
Roughly.
10 minutes.
To write all this
I-
out? Find it and write it all out?
I
I
just
don't think so.
copied it off of the MCAT notes.
So what would have I done in this? I would have not handwritten it out, not only because my handwriting is terrible.
Probably would have copied and pasted it into a document.
I would have copied, pasted, put it in a spreadsheet, and so printed it out. So the next person had it, so you don't have to do it. It wouldn't have taken any longer to type it out, maybe less time. But then I wouldn't know how good of handwriting you have. So I guess there's a benefit to it. And so when we go ahead so what I'm struggling with now is, do I call these people today? And that's short-term, theoretically short-term money. Or do I go ahead and do I work on the new testimonial box, the 12 book, which I think is really going to help Nora and Becky a lot and everybody else. So do I work on actually going out and doing pre-sales and sales, or do I go ahead and do this? It's working in your business versus on your business. And where will I almost always default to?
In,
In is when you're doing the work of the business.
what's on?
On is when you're developing your business to run without you. It's
Then on.
it's on. So it's almost always on with me. That's the mistake. Like you can, this is, there's a screen here somewhere. And working in versus on your business. And so, so there's pros to working in your business. There's pros to working on your business. Most businesses actually work in their business. So they always own a company versus a job. And so, so I don't know if I can find that quickly. And so anyways, the story is that Jack Eastman, the head of vice president, he went ahead and said, hey, Mark, can we go out to lunch? Which was not a big deal. We didn't do it a lot, but I wasn't really concerned. But when I got there, he's like, so I've got good news and bad news, Mark. So here's working on in your business versus on your business. So this one caught this right here, this one lesson right here. Over $500,000 is what it cost me to acquire that knowledge. So this is short-term is fishing versus long-term is farming. This is a golden nugget versus a gold mine. Short-term working in your business, the advantages is we survive. Little things like that, you stay in business. Not a bad thing, right? It's easier to do. It takes less discipline. It faster results. It feels good in the short term. You earn more money actually in the short term. The disadvantages of working in your business is we end up owning a job rather than a company. We will work harder long term. We will earn less money long term. Working on your business, that's farming. It's a gold mine. The advantage is our business will make a profit without us, can sell our business in the future without us. We'll earn a great deal of money, more money in the long term. We will continue to grow our net worth and business valuation. The disadvantage is we will earn less money in the short term. We invest more back into the business. We will work longer hours in the short term. We could lose the business with too much focus on the long term. That's my number one thing. And much harder to stay focused on. So we're meeting and Jack says, so Mark, I've got good news and bad news. What do you want to know first? I said, let's have the bad news first. And he said, I talked to the president. The president came and talked to me and said that we're going to need to go ahead and eliminate most everything that we're paying. Like, I don't know, over 3/4 of what we're paying you. So 3/4 of our business is getting wiped out today. So I'm, I don't know, 29 years old, 30 years old, 3 kids. Wife's not working outside the home. Yeah. So what's my response to Jack? I'm like, that's bad news. I can't wait till I hear the good news. This is great. Jack laughs. He's like, you're just strange. Why is that great, Mark? Well, you guys are 95% of our business. That's not a real good business model. So this is going to go ahead and help accelerate fixing that situation fast. So I had some stuff in the works. And so, so I had stuff in the works. I had, so I was having it, but it obviously wasn't moving fast. And so I had things in the works. And so I anticipated it, was hoping it wasn't going to happen, but it accelerated it happening a lot. And he's just like, he just laughs. He says, you're just something, Mark. Like who does that? Somebody who gets out in the future and sees, here's potential risk. We better address these risks. It's a seer. Like I saw it, worked on it. I wasn't totally oblivious to it, hadn't fixed it. And I said, what's the good news? He says, well, you know how that performance selling of 70,000? I said, yeah. So they didn't have to pay us. So we did more than what and so we turned in a bill, like with Joe's. So it's performance selling. So they owed us 70,000. They had $70,000 in additional services that they had no legal obligation, no responsibility to pay. He said, I talked to the president about that. And the president said that we're willing to pay half of that. I'm like, wow. So we got $35,000, which gave us just enough buffer to get us through the next 3 months, which is what we needed to go ahead and do, to go ahead and 3-4 months to get the other product and roll it out. But I've been working on other strategies for the previous 6 months. And so when you learn to see in the future, you're a seer. What it is most people. So when I come home that night, Rosanna's like, she's like, how was your day? I said, oh, maybe best day ever. She looks at me and she cocks her head. I said, yeah, it was a great day, really exciting day. She says, is that your great day or a normal person's great day? I'm like, probably mine. What happened? I said, well, Jack Eastman, yeah, that lunch, how'd that go? Well, he said we were done as of today. Yeah. She just shakes her head. She's like, that doesn't seem good at all. I'm like, oh no, it's really good. So when you're a seer, see, this is the thing, Becky is a seer. So Becky's a seer. She can see stuff. If you know somebody that wins all games, they're probably a seer to a large degree. A seer can see things in the future before they happen. So you can prepare for them. You can go, okay, this might happen. So what's frustrating to me is that people who aren't seers, they're blind into the future, and you use your talents, your God-given talents, to help them, and then they don't listen. Now, there's something in the Wall Street Journal about a guy who predicted the housing bust, and other people mock him because he said, yeah, he's predicted 20 of the last 2 depressions or recessions. So what he's doing is he keeps saying there is a recession. He said that there were 20 recessions, ended up only being 2. So even a blind squirrel is going to find a nut. So the analytic driver, as a downside, like the analytic sees everything that's negative. It's not negative though. It's learning from the past. When you have somebody learning from the past that's an analytic and driver, that person you want to listen to. They're not perfect. They're not a prophet. They're not perfect. Their timing is off and off. They will often go ahead and predict something's going to happen, but they predict it's going to happen and it doesn't happen in 3 years. It happens in 4 or 5 years. And so the amiable and expressive personality, they're not good seers. The analytic has a hard time seeing too. They're so fixated in the small details, they can't see the big picture. And that's where you've got to go, the white paper, big and small. So, questions? I would recommend, throughout the week when we're doing meetings and other podcasts and stuff, I'll think of stories. Oh, that'd be a good action vision or, synergy story. Then you guys bring it here. And then there's a number of people. like Mike Casper is like it was cool to have him here. Now, I don't know if he's heard this one. And there's a bunch of people that I'd love to thank. So that might be something we could do. There's a whole bunch of people. I say, hey, I appreciate you for helping me. So probably here is, this is interesting. This one here, see where you're at. So this probably is the closing out of the main section. I don't know.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
was the McDonald's story for this one, for this podcast, or was that for a different one?
Well, I think so. So when I was 15, 16 years old, I worked at 2 McDonald's. So at the same time. So I had a and then I had a night custodian job, and then I was working another job and another job. So I had like 4 or 5 jobs. That's why I have the signature I do. It's not because I'm sloppy. It's just because I had a lot of checks that I had to write when I was, little. Like I had I had like 20 checks coming. I just come up with a doctor signature. It's just, anyways. So I went ahead and was working at 2 McDonald's, and one was a franchise McDonald's owned by the McDonald's franchise, owned by the McDonald's company, and the other was a franchise owner was owned by, some old guy, like, I don't know, 80, 90-year-old. And he owned like 5 McDonald's. And so which McDonald's was run better, the one that was owned by McDonald's Corporation or the one that was owned by, I forget the guy's name, but owned by the guy, the franchisee?
Probably the franchisee.
Yeah. Yeah, because he watched it. It was his own. It was run a lot better, a lot tighter, better quality, better everything. And so, I don't know, 16 years old. And, so the first thing they do is teach you how to flip burgers. So I went ahead and looked at those McDonald's as if I owned my own company. Like, I'm going to own a McDonald's someday. I never have, but I still looked at it. And said, I'm going to own a McDonald's someday. I treated it as if I went ahead and owned the McDonald's. Every company I've ever worked for when I was in high school, every company, it's the secret, treat it as if you own it. And every job, I don't know where I picked that up. No, I don't remember anybody ever telling me that. I just knew. I don't know. You're going to do better, higher quality work. And I advanced very quickly. I mean, the people and man, they said, man, you're fast, Mark. Man, you're good at what you do. And then I went ahead, and so they had, they gave you 20-minute breaks or something for every 4 hours of work that you did. And so when they had breaks, you could get a meal free. And so that was really cool. And then you could go down in the break room, and in the break room, they had a TV with VHS. So that, the recorders. And then what they did is they went ahead and you could learn like how to do the shake machine or French fries. So during your break, you could go ahead and learn how to do a different station. And so they didn't force you to do it. It was just there. And I thought, I'd do it because I'm like, what else am I going to do? I'm going to, I want to learn when I'm eating. Don't just eat. Definitely don't socialize with other people. Just learn, And so, that's when I got hooked on technology when I was 16. And I'm like, these guys are genius, because what they're doing is they're seeing who's the ones that are up and coming, like who's the ones going to take initiative. And then it's efficient. Like then they don't have to pay me for training because I'm doing it on my own time, on my lunch or break. And then they're cloning themselves. So I never learned that when I was in college for my 3 business degrees. So my 3 business degrees, I went ahead and wrote down all the most significant things I learned. And 90% of what I learned that I thought was significant in my business degrees was never on the syllabus, never on the course outline. It wasn't intentionally taught to me. It was things that I learned outside. And so in high school, when I worked as a night custodian, then I worked at often doing multiple jobs all at the same time. I didn't have a life then either. So I just worked, saved money. And so I worked as a night custodian. for many years. And then I worked in a warehouse, a book publishing warehouse. And then I worked and that, like I'm the first part-time person. So one of the rules was you couldn't go ahead and if you were part-time, you couldn't drive the stand-up forklifts. I don't know why, just the rule. Naturally, when I saw the rule, I'm like, well, that's for everybody else. It doesn't apply to me. And sure enough, that's what happened. I went ahead and I was the first person ever to do it. So I succeeded because I'm like, I own these companies. So when we have ownership of something, we treat it different than if it's somebody else. So always have ownership. And then my parents or somebody, I don't know, my brother, I don't know if they have this, but somehow I picked up growing up, treat other people's resources just like your own. Like other people's money, other people's equipment, other people's tools, other people's everything. It doesn't matter if it's the governments or a company. You always treat other people's as good as you would your own. I don't know how to teach that to people. So yeah, it's like those are things like that for sure. Anybody else have anything else? So the backstage passes, there's all these warm belly rubs. There's hundreds or thousands of them. I mean, when you think about Tom Coons, and I don't know how many we have now, 20 plus different situations that Tom has gone through that I'm like, that is really, really cool. Really, really good. And so you hide these in your heart. You go, somebody took 20 years to acquire this knowledge, this wisdom, and put it into place. Somebody spent $250,000, $500,000, $2 million acquiring this, and I get it for free. And if you don't understand the significance of it, which most people don't, then you won't appreciate it. And if you don't appreciate it, you won't use it. So my heart is to help all of you like crazy. I don't want you to have to go through and pay the prices that I've had to pay. I'm thankful I paid them. I'm thankful that I've learned what I've learned. I'm thankful that I'm in a position that I can give away 97% of my intellectual property. Well, I might want to scale that back after the accounting meeting. Like, don't give away so much. That's another story for another time. Like, there's a lot there. And so I'm so thankful that I'm in the season of life that I am, and that I've gone through the adversity that I've gone through, and that I've learned the lessons that I've learned, and I want to share those with other people. But it seems like to me, a lot of times other people, they're not paying attention. They don't understand. And that's sad to me. Really sad. Anything else that any of you have? Okie dokie. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. Always remember we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.